I read.
Yeah.
Well, we got,
It's 5:59. I'll come strolling in.
it's set our clock by Sean.
Yeah. There he is.
Well,
Here, hand me the box so I can toss it to Sean. I know he'll use it.
Bob counts.
There. They're frozen thin, yeah, so put them up. I brought a box that Sean will fully support opening that.
Ready on the left, ready on the right?
All right. Thought I'd sit next.
Welcome to Colfax. This is the March 13th City Council meeting.
Out of the freedom.
Bob Counts, would you give the Pledge of Allegiance?
It's already standing up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, would you give the roll call?
Sure. For the record, Councilmember Burris is absent this evening. Councilmember Hilberg,
Present.
McCauley,
Present.
Loman,
Here.
Mayor Douglas.
Present. Item 2D. May I have a motion to approve the order of the agenda, or does anybody want to change the order of the agenda? Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All those opposed, abstain, motion carries. Okay, consent calendar.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
Well, we need to pull 3B because I can't vote on that. So we have to
Oh,
pull 3B
sorry.
out separately. So if you could pull 3B, please.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda, the consent calendar with 3B to be discussed later?
Move to approve consent calendar with the removal.
All
of
those in
3B.
favor?
Second.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion carries. Now for motion 3B.
Get your donation to Railroad Days.
Do we want to have a discussion? No. If there's no discussion, nothing from the public, then I'll move to approve 3B.
A second?
Can you second that, Larry?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mayor Douglas, I'm going to roll call that one just so that I can, for the
Okay.
record, have McCauley abstain. So let's see, Councilmember Hilberg,
Aye.
Councilmember Loman,
Aye.
and Mayor Douglas.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, we move on as. What are we on now? Oh, yeah. Agency report.
Anybody's got any questions, I answer, otherwise.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Excellent report.
So there's no crime this week?
Council here, Officer Jason Lyman, Gold Road CHP, Public Information Officer. I have a few stats here to go over, but I just wanted to say that, you know, we had quite a bit of weather the last several weeks, and thankfully it looks like we're gonna have a nice weekend finally, so everybody's looking forward to that, and hopefully, didn't know of any real major problems during the last snow. We had to have the freeway closed for a while. There didn't seem to be any major catastrophes with that anyway, so other than the Caltrans camper getting hit by a drunk driver. So thankfully they were not injured very badly, but we did do some severe damage to the back end of the clean control camper there. So I'm gonna go over just some stats from February. We did a total of 6 arrests. 3 were DUI related. We issued 213 citations and a total of enforcement contacts of 478. There was a total of 25 collisions. 7 of them were injury collisions and 18 were non-injury collisions. And we had and also were 2 of those were DUI related. Other than that, that's about all I've got this time. Anybody got any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Nope.
Good. Thanks for that.
Copy that. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. My name is Jeff Lovelace, Battalion Chief for Cal Fire, Placer County Fire Department. No change in our staffing. We still have 2 engines here in Colfax, which will stay again year round. And we'll have 1 engine up in Alta that will change probably in the next couple months. And then 1 down in Bowman area or Auburn area. So no change with that. We did do a little bit of augmentation and increase of staffing with some of the storms that did come. So the last one was 9-10 days ago now, was expected to be a little bit more hard hitting. Fortunately enough, it didn't hit with the snow levels that we were expecting, but we did augment with increased crews, increased overhead, which is our battalion chiefs and captains, and then increase in pickups. We found 2 or 3 years ago that having those 4-wheel drive pickups to be able to get down driveways and be able to check on people was sufficient, especially with some of the chainsaw and medical equipment with them. Statistics, if you take a look up in the chart, about average for this time of year, we have for Station 30, structure fires, we had 2, vehicle fires 2, traffic collisions 13, which is a little higher, but with the storms, that does make sense. Medical aids 46 for a total of 88 calls. That was for Station 30. For 36, in Colfax itself, 2 structure fires, 2 vehicle fires, 3 traffic collisions, 43 medical aids for a total of 73. For the volunteer response, we did have 8%, which is a little lower, but our volunteer has been a little bit busier. We were able to get him in 3 separate trainings. One training was a chainsaw basic class that was teaching him the safety aspects of the chainsaw, how to operate it, and then get him certified to do so. Another one he just finished today, which was a swift water awareness in the confluence, able to get him adequately understanding some of the waterways and how they work and how throw bags and can work with rescue systems on that. And then a wildland safety and survival class. So all 3 of these classes, he was able to participate in the last 3 weeks, which has been good to get that training. The last one, safety and survival, is some of our tragic events that happen and the education and training behind them. So it was really good to see him get out there and get some of that done. Other thing that we did have was a C300, which is a command and control. That is a statewide class that we're able to participate in. The class is a little bit closer. So we're able to utilize some of our local cooperators and assisting agencies. One to the left of me here, that we're able to interact. The picture you see on that just below the logo was the interactions of the back of the pickup on how to run an incident. So that is a multi-agency assisting to basically command and control a large wildland incident. You will see in that photo, we do have media. We're able to get Fox 40 out there and then Ubinet. So those should be posting or have already posted. One thing I'm excited about is the equipment. We have Rescue Support 98. So on the bottom, there's a picture there of a larger rescue vehicle. So we are in the process of putting this in service. This is going to be, there's several threats on the I-80 corridor in Colfax, including Alta for Placer County Fire Department that include, heavy rescue, a lot of, some confined space, the command and control piece, the hazmat, all the spill. So we were able to come up with a game plan to staff that appropriately to mitigate some of these larger threats that we have in this community. This vehicle will be staffed on June 15th, is our end state or our end goal to staff that has a multifaceted extended or larger incident that we'll be able to be supported by this. So it's quite honestly, I'm excited because it's not one that usually happens, but it is definitely needed up here and it'll definitely support some of these larger incidents, including the wildland side of things. Updates on Colfax itself, we did complete the phase 1 of the hydrant test, which is basically taking a look. I will seek for some advice from city manager as it continues going on how we do with a couple of them. But all in all, glad to see we're able to get some of that testing done. That's all I have for my report, unless I have any questions.
Any
Just-
questions?
Yeah, I had one. So the rescue support 88, is that staying at station 30
That will be staying at station 98.
and
But
98?
it is again, it's more for those extended 3-4 hours and beyond
Mhm.
that we're able to come over, have a volunteer or one of our guys bring it over to help support that incident.
Okay.
I'm actually pretty excited.
Yeah, that's
Once
great.
we're complete with it, I'd love to show anybody
Yeah.
around.
Love to see it. All right, thank you.
Okay, and do we have any nonprofit? Okay,
Mr. Mayor and council members, good evening. I've had some conversations with the agencies about the agency reports on every council meeting. And some of the feedback I get is they prefer to do a large report on the first council meeting of the month and then just be available for question and answers on the second council meetings of the month. So if you see a change in it, that's kind of their mindset.
Good to me.
sounds good. Okay, we have no presentation. And we have no public hearing. So we go on to number 7, public comment on anything, keeping it under 5 minutes that was not on the agenda. Is there any public comment?
Mayor, I have 3 people signed up for public comment. First, I have Earl Anderson.
First, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your service to Colfax. Appreciate it. And for our protection and fire guys and everything else, thank you so much for your services. It's greatly needed, especially on Friday and beyond, because I live close to CAL FIRE and I can tell how busy you are by the time the siren goes off. It's amazing. My favorite topic used to be potholes in Colfax, but I was beaten out by Good Day America or Good Morning America or something like that. There was TV coverage of somebody spray painting potholes and they came up here and filmed all that. So, but my second favorite topic is signage. And that's the business that I'm in. I've been a territory manager for Michelin Tire Corporation. Covered from Elko, Nevada to Vacaville and from Reading to Stockton. And I've seen a lot of road, a lot of good road, a lot of bad road. Lived here since 1986. And I've watched, well, first I'll say this, people would ask me, where do I live? And I tell them, well, I live in Colfax. And they say, oh, what's about Colfax? I said, well, they're downtown historic and all that. And they go, there is? Really? Okay. Yeah, there's downtown Colfax. Okay. Well, in the last couple of years, with all businesses going downhill, I mean, it's not just in our town with the vacancies, but it's everywhere. Even if you look in Auburn, where the Bel Air Market is, there's a host of for lease. It's everywhere. So Colfax is a historical town. Train town, USA. I have a question about trains for the staff. What is the most important notable thing historically about Colfax? Any idea?
That'd be a matter of opinion.
I'll give you a hint. Camp
I
20.
mean, you could talk about airplane crashes, you could talk about Schuler, you could talk about the building of the trains, but it all depends on your opinion.
I'm talking 1800s. Does the name Camp 20 mean anything to anybody?
Mhm.
Okay. Camp 20 was quite a place. It had everything going for it. It was huge. I was even told by one of the people that were born and raised here that right around the corner was the house of ill repute. It was that busy. But since 1986, I've watched it go down. There was a time, I want to say it was about 1995, there was a recall. Do you remember that? And that recall was based on the fact that we were losing our police department. We've lost our fire department. We've continually lost and lost and lost. So now what does this all mean? What it means to me is that Colfax doesn't know how to market itself. When people say, well, you know, we're marketing Colfax, what specifically are you marketing about Colfax? What is it that it makes it unique? And in my opinion, it's the fact that it's the site of the Transcontinental Railroad coming together. That was a big damn deal. And that's the thing that you should start with and build from there. It's with the last signage that was done here in this town, it doesn't even say when since. It doesn't even say that. The billboards that are on the freeway, you can't even read the 3 words that are underneath the picture of the lake or somebody water skiing. And I don't even know what the hell they say on a billboard. And when you get off the freeway, people, I'm sure the highway patrol and sheriff and everybody else knows, when people come off that freeway to make that hook to go over the bridge, you really think you can read that sign at 45 miles an hour where the print is no joke, that tall? And now, I don't know whose fault it is, but there's no paint on the intersections. And I watch people drive right from Starbucks, they're wired to the 10th power, they got their venti coffee and they drive right through that intersection. And the only thing I can say, you want to increase tickets? Park in that parking lot. You'd be busy as hell. And then if they don't stop there, then it's at the Shell station, they blow right through. And if you look at Rockland has a really good stop sign situation. They have flashing lights around their stop sign. It's motion, it attracts the eye. The one that's at the 76 station is so far back that between the no paint on the floor and the sign that's way back, no wonder they're blowing through the intersection. Doesn't take a genius to figure this out. All you gotta do is sit there and watch. And I know I've heard, well, that's California, that's, Caltrans, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? It's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Paint the damn thing. Send them the bill. But stop this insanity. It can't be that big of a problem to overcome. All I know is I was responsible for 39 tire stores at one time. And I had to do a lot of ask forgiveness than permission just to keep things running the right way. And it can be done. And I'm retired now. I would volunteer my time, but I don't know where that time needs to be directed, but somebody's got to be doing something about signage. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public
you.
comment?
Thank you. I also have Debbie and Sandy that would like to make a public comment.
Good evenings, council and mayor. We're so thankful to be here this evening, to be able to address you and to use this process that's been established for us to use. We thank you for choosing to be public servants of the people. We thank you for taking your oaths to uphold and defend the constitutions. My name is Sandy, and I'm from Placer County. We are coming to you this evening in peace as we, the people, to give you notice and instruction so that you and your agents may provide due care. This national lockdown notice has already been given to 50 state governors, to the President of the United States, to the Supreme Court, to the United States Senate, and the United States Congress. We are now giving you a copy. In January, we learned that the federal government, in alignment with the World Health Organization, has announced an amendment to a credible threat of a public health emergency. Their expanding countermeasures now include both Ebola and Marburg viruses, and extension of liability immunity to manufacturers, distributors, program planners, qualified persons and their officials, and agents and employees. We have included this report in our notice envelope just given to you. We have also learned that the government was never granted any authority to lock down the people, even in times of emergency. The main object of government is the protection and preservation of personal rights, private property, and public liberties. The government just serves for our benefit as public officers, trustees, and servants of the people. We are also attaching a list of unalienable rights, which includes the right to accept or refuse any medical treatment for any reason. Since this council has a history of putting the city under health emergency orders for extended periods of time, we are very concerned that another round of involuntary lockdowns and health orders could occur in our fair county. My colleague will continue.
Thank you. Good evening, council. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Debbie Woolley with We the People. Please take notice that all states in our Republican form of government have sworn to protect individual liberty as a condition to be hired as trustees. The people of America are all guaranteed to have the same rights in all the states. As an elected official, do you believe it is your duty to always protect the natural rights of the people so they are guaranteed enjoyment of all their natural rights? Or do you believe in some time of panic or emergency that you can remove the people's rights to freely exercise their liberty, their movement, their worship, their commerce, or any other purpose that is lawful? If so, please show constitutional authority where you get that power. Posting this granted authority conspicuously within the next 15 days, notifying the public and all agents. If you cannot show where you got the authority and you take action blocking the people's rights to enjoy freedom, then any lockdown, mandate, or forced use of any medical device will be construed as being done with malice, intent, full knowledge and understanding against your trust indenture, your contract with the people. That would be the Constitution. This notice is given in peace and with the love of Christ, that you and your agents may provide due care to those who have all political power, the people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have one more.
Hi, good evening, council. Thank you for allowing us to be here. My name is Deborah. I'm from Placer County as well. I'm here in support of what Sandy and Debbie have shared with you. And I want to reiterate that 100% we're behind what they had to say, and just looking forward to you guys, doing your due diligence to take care of your constituents and not, take away our freedoms again. A lot of people have been hurt by what has happened in the past, and people have lost their livelihoods, their members in their family have died because of medical procedures that were forced upon them. I have a friend that died this week, and I have another friend on her deathbed because of those. And so it's very personal to me. And as a resident of Placer County, I implore you to please, do your constitutional duty and take care of we the people as instructed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Last call for public comment. Okay, no more public comment. We go on to council business. And shall we start with Sean? Committee reports.
Nothing for tonight. Haven't had any meetings yet.
Nothing to report.
It has been a slow start to the month, hasn't it? I'm okay with it, yeah. I see the only thing I actually went to the Chamber Coffee and Conversations they had, and Josh Alpine from PCWA was there, and you've got the pretty poster to share from it, but that was about it. It is a slow start to the month, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So, all you.
Okay, I also went to the Coffee and Conversation, which we recommend for everybody, first Thursday of the month from 9 to 10. And you'll see Tim Ryan there. And it's a way to also express your thoughts. There was a, Josh Alpine gave us. Yeah. Go to my microphone. President Biden gave the State of the Union, and Josh gave the state of the PCWA and our water system. It was very informative. And we always have good speakers showing up. So first Thursday of the month at the Chamber of Commerce. Let's see, there was also the crab feed at the Sierra Vista Center. And then the pancake breakfast, second Sunday of the month. Don't forget that. Support your local VFW. And I also attended a Zoom conference on AI, artificial intelligence, and how it relates to the workplace. And I don't think Colfax is a candidate for anybody being replaced by AI, but it's coming to some of the bigger cities. The 8 Ivy League schools, CEOs, their CEOs make a total of about $3 million total, if you add up the 8 divided into 3 million. And so at the AI meeting, I suggested that we replace the CEOs at the Ivy League. So that would be one good use, I think, of AI. Okay, and next we move on to the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Update on the CDBG project. The contract has been sent to Hanson, and we're just working through the remaining paperwork such as insurance and bonds. And after that, we'll have a schedule for you and we'll start moving forward. The I&I project is about 75% complete at this time. Still punching it out. As long as we get rain, they'll keep going in a hurry. The wastewater treatment plant, the algae project, on a kickoff meeting on that. But I don't think there's a schedule yet for that, but there is a schedule for the SCADA. We've had the kickoff meeting with the SCADA and they've come up with a schedule. That's about a year-long project. And still waiting on PG&E on the solar interconnect. In City Hall here, we've hired some staff members and we've landed on a city clerk and we're negotiating with the city clerk now. And then Shannon will bring that back for council for approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to 9A, downtown connectivity study. Do we want to discuss that before we?
Good evening. I'm Kathy Pease, a planning consultant with the city. This evening, we also have Civic Well with us in case any comments come up. We don't have a formal presentation because the council considered this item at a workshop January 24th. But this item tonight, we're bringing forward for your final approval with the grant that was received.
Okay, do we have any discussion before we vote on this?
Questions or discussions?
I have a question. Last time that you guys were here, I was asking about big rigs. Big rigs have become America's warehouses, and they're constantly clogging up our streets. A lot of the potholes, I believe, come from them. It used to be that there were warehouses, and now we get unique big rigs for each product, and they're often parking on our streets. And I didn't see anything in the connectivity plan about that, and I still don't, but maybe I looked in the wrong place. But I think it's something that needs to be addressed. When they can park on the street, blocking parking places to support our businesses, that we need a plan. And I'm not sure what the plan is. For example, I suppose we could use the alleys, but then they're clogging up the alleys. And perhaps there's another way, especially on North Main Street here. If there's a parking area in the middle of the street for the big rigs so that traffic could flow either way. Anyway, I think it's becoming worse, not better. And in the next 40-year context rather, it's going to get way worse.
I think the context for our connectivity plan was limited. We got a grant that we had specific things that we had to look at. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to that.
I was just gonna add, we did have a section in the recommendations about having to look at regulations for parking as part of what gets implemented in the future. And so that would be part of drop-offs, pickups, et cetera. So that would cover any style of parking, which would have to include trucks too. So we have an extra sentence at the end for that. Mhm.
It's something where they happen. I'm not sure that even in an emergency, we could deal with it.
And yeah, just the broadness of the plan, it's more that would have to get investigated as something that gets moved forward for changes on Main Street. That would have to be a
Okay,
consideration.
I wish I brought it up last year when you guys were around, so you had a chance to respond to it.
We did by including that in the
Yeah,
recommendations.
I got it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Any other debate or questions? Okay, do I hear a motion to adopt and approve?
I move we
Public.
approve.
Any public comment?
Again, I'm happy to be here, and I just wanted to say that I appreciated Larry Hilberg's comments about the trucks and the potholes and, it's safety issues. So I hope that that is integrated in the plans. Thank you.
If there's not any more public comment, looks like the former Chamber of Commerce president has a comment.
Tim Ryan, City of Colfax. First off, I want to thank you all for getting this new development study going. I know that the City of Colfax has had a few before that you have already looked at. And I realize, and Larry, what you were talking about, I don't believe that the study is something that is in concrete and could be amended probably as time goes on for the different needs of the community. but it seems like it's a really good start right now. I realize you will not get 100% of people that want this. It just doesn't happen. I don't care what you're dealing with. But I think the majority of the people in Colfax would agree, at least it's a good start. And if you do pass this tonight, my feeling is I would like to see any of the small things started and begin with. And I don't care if it's painting the curbs or, just doing something along the way, maybe signage, what like Earl was saying, maybe there's something new to start off with that. But I think any kind of progression like that will help our community and show our community that our city council is moving along. I understand, you're going to have to be waiting for, I hope that's not me ringing off, that we'll be getting grants to do a lot of these projects. And some of these projects are extremely costly, that is in your plan. But if you can just at least start with the small ones and then let it build from that and get more and more people involved with this, I think you guys have got a really good start. And yeah, I do hope that you pass this tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All I can say is about getting people involved. When we had the recall, 863 voters showed up to recall one of the city council members. The night we had the recall election, there were people, we were on the intersection here with banners, signs, protest signs, what have you. And all of a sudden, at 6 o'clock, all these cars start coming by and yelling, yay, recall, recall, yay. And we thought, what's going on? But when I got home that night, I found out that we had ABC, NBC, and CBS up here with giant trucks interviewing everybody, store owners, what have you. And one of the council members, who also happened to own a store, was interviewed. And she said on live television, nothing but a bunch of swaggering drunks always berating the city council. Well, those city swaggering drunks were the ones that voted her out. She was the highest recalled. So to think that the people in Colfax don't pay attention, you're kidding yourself. They do pay attention, and they will come together for the right cause. But it just seems that there's just a lack of participation. And I can't really put my finger on it, but you know what? You need an elephant one bite at a time. So we start somewhere. And to answer your question about the trucks, you guys don't let them park. Turn them around. Send them out. There's no put no parking signs at any time, whatever it takes, and then enforce them. Then you get more revenue, and maybe they'll get the message. Don't go to Colfax and park there in the street. You're gonna get in trouble. That gets around in that little neighborhood of those people. So.
I think the issue is the big companies now all have their own big rigs.
Say again?
The corporations, be it Budweiser or Lay's potato chips or whatever, they each have their own big rig. And if we don't let them in town, then their product won't make it to any of the downtown businesses. So there's some compromise needed, but I feel pretty strongly about it, that there must be a solution.
Thank you.
Oh, any other public comment? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the downtown connectivity plan.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. And we move on to item 9B. The Housing and General Plan Annual Progress Report.
Hello again, Kathy Pease, Planning Consultant. This item before you is a requirement of the state government code. It requires that local jurisdictions report out on a yearly basis for the previous calendar year. So for January 1st to December 31st of 2023, we need to provide The Housing and Community Development Department and the Office of Planning and Research report on how many housing units have been constructed during the year, as well as an update on the general plan progress. So for this year, last year was a big year on the general plan update, so we will report that to the state. And then as far as housing units, there were no new units constructed. The city has between 2021 and 2029 needs to show progress in meeting the regional housing need allocation. City of Colfax was given 87 units total that should be constructed during this time period. Previously, 14 units had been constructed, but the number that we need to have remaining is 83. Which remains the same as last year. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Did that number include multifamily residential?
Yes.
So each individual unit in that multifamily would count as one of those units?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to make sure.
And the higher the density, the better that is for us because it hits those more affordable criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Now, if the hotel goes through with their plan of putting like 8 units on all 3 floors, how does that affect meeting our requirements?
If they are rental or constructed for permanent housing, then that would help us.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was my question. How did they come up with that number for Colfax? Because there's not that
Yes,
much space
yes.
within city limits to put
Yes,
83,
so-
even apartments and stuff. So I know they really push that, they really want
So-
the AUDs with the homeowners to actually
Yes.
build the attachments. Other than that, do we really have
So,
room to put this?
Unfortunately, the state of California feels that it's the local jurisdictions that are in the way of housing. So as you know, we have no control over whether a developer comes and builds a unit. So our regional housing needs allocation is distributed. The Sacramento Area Council of Governments gets a huge number every 8 years from the state, and they have to parcel all of the units out to all of our jurisdictions. So they do take into consideration the fact that Colfax is limited, that there hasn't been a lot of growth. They meet with staff and look at our vacant parcels to see what could be accommodated. And so they work with us as best they can, knowing that it's a bubble. So if we are successful and really reduce that, those units have to go to another jurisdiction. So it's really a balancing act, but those units are doled out at the beginning of the housing element cycle. So you're right, 87 units is huge for the city. We really don't have any control, like I said, whether developers come in. The best we can do is what you did with the housing element is to identify where units can go and to identify in our zoning ordinance. So we do the best we can to report out.
What is the time frame?
The time frame is, we're in the middle of the cycle right now. It's 2021 to 2029. And then in 2029, we'd start all over and get a new number. The bad scenario is if those units don't get constructed, they carry over to the next housing element cycle.
Okay.
Kim, aren't you on SACOG?
No, that's Trinity and I.
Yeah, somebody better start doing some yelling.
Yeah, if you would like to paint it flat and some ground in our city limits and add to it, if you want to let them branch out, that's a question. Sorry. Will it count if we annex Shady Glen and all that stuff? If that happens, does that
Yes,
count towards
yes.
these numbers?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
Looking for.
all right, okay.
It's a double-edged sword
Yeah.
though, because if you annex and you have more capacity, they may increase your numbers the following cycle.
Okay,
So cities like Folsom and Roseville who grow a lot,
and our
get
flat.
thousands and thousands of units. Right.
Well, this is about affordable housing. You know, people are leaving the state because they can't afford to live here. And the state decided that they would take control, and they did. And it makes it easier for people that live here to do that if they want to. That's what this is all about. We don't have to, but we have the ability to do it with less restrictions now than we did before. So in the big picture, I think it's a good thing. I think that I mean, I could probably put a half dozen of them on my property. I don't know that I'd want to, but I have the option and the freedom to do that. And it's a lot easier now. There's less bureaucracy, there's less red tape. And in the larger picture, it's not a bad thing.
ADUs count toward this also, right?
They do,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
So does the city council have to worry about a big recall if we can't accomplish this 87 new units? Anybody here volunteer to be a swaggering drunk? Any other questions or comments?
Again, thank you. This time, I don't think I agree with Mr. Hilberg with the overall picture. Unfortunately, lots of people are moving out for, you know, a lot of other issues. And unfortunately, our border is so open that we're actually going to be housing people that are not citizens and are not taxpayers, is my feel. I want to let you know that there are other city councils that have been addressing their concerns about all this high density housing that's coming in called low income housing. And I know that the city of Auburn has recently produced a resolution against this legislation that keeps coming down from the state, interfering with the local governance. I believe that it's government overreach, and I am very proud of the city council in Auburn. I believe it's resolution number 24, if you guys want to look it up. But there's a lot of truth that's being stated there by other council members and expressing their concerns. So I would recommend that you look that up and consider it. Thank you.
My only comment would be, we really didn't have a lot of choice. There's not much we can do as a council.
Any other comments or
Nope,
questions?
I'm gonna move that we adopt this resolution. What is it for the 2024, accepting the 2023 General Plan and Housing Element Annual Progress Report? And authorize staff to transmit the report.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. We now move to item 10, good of the order. Sean, anything good to say?
Had a great time at the crab feed on Saturday. Green Machine did a great job putting it on. They didn't quite sell out, but it ended up being pretty good because there was a little bit more space in there this year. Crab was great. All the food's great, great company. So it was a really good time. Pioneer Energy meeting is tomorrow. You can view it on Zoom at 3 o'clock. And the link should be out. That's all I have.
I went down to Golden One and watched our girls' basketball team play. They gave a good account of themselves, and by the time it got to the last quarter, they just didn't have a lot left in the tank. They played well up until then. And I would say that I'm not really sure. I mean, the girls would say, hey, bring them on, whoever they are. But our school played up 2 divisions. And in the state championship game, we were playing an open division team that played down 2 divisions. So I'm not sure how that can happen. it's not really equity or a level playing field. But there's always next year and we only graduated one player. So at some point in time, I think that we as a council need to recognize their accomplishment. They've played in the state championship game 2 years in a row, and they played up in higher divisions both times. And I'm not sure if I have any specific ideas, but we need to do something.
Ron and I have been chatting. We're working on it. Once we have all the balls in place. It's on.
I'm all for
I
that.
support that.
I'll let you know. Yeah, no, we were chatting about it, so. That it? I would just want to highlight, there are lots of things going on in town this weekend and this month. You do have the VFW St. Patrick's Dinner, and I do believe they still have a couple tickets for that. That is on the 16th. You do have a flea market this weekend. The chamber is having a volunteer mixer tomorrow night at 5 to 6, right, Tim? So anybody who is looking to be able to help out here and there in different organizations, it's a good place to go and show up. And then the SVCC board, the Sierra Vista board, is still accepting applications for more board members, and that is open through the 29th. And the Lions are doing their Easter egg hunt on the 30th, and they are already working on stuffing eggs. I was watching them do it the other day. So there's lots of things going on this month for people to participate in.
Okay. We had a quorum at the championship game. Three is a quorum. And we couldn't discuss the game, sit together. But anyhow, we should be proud of, we're a Division IV team playing against the Division II team. And the tuition at the school that beat us is $50,000 a year. They're from Beverly Hills. And so, I agree with what I think Larry said, that that's ridiculous having school of 670 playing against the Beverly not hillbillies. On the good of the order, I would like to say I spoke to the owner of the hotel today, and just in general, he's still very upbeat and positive. So he's not a deadbeat like the previous owners. So, and that's all I have. And you?
Oh, can I backtrack real quick? I just did want to acknowledge, we got an email in from Jane Gallagher, and she had been requesting clarification on how you can participate in city council meetings. And the only way to comment is to either attend in person or send an email to the city clerk before about 4:30, 5 o'clock. All of the perks we had when we were dealing with COVID of the Facebook Live and being able to get calls and comments on Zoom are no longer valid at this point. One, because people who want to say unpleasant things were calling in, and also people were using the Freedom of Information Act and deleting comments on Facebook to try to get jurisdictions in trouble. So we want your participation, but it does have to be via email or in person.
City manager, anything?
Nothing more to add from me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, now item 10A, public comment on good of the order. This is any comment you want to bring up for the welfare of the city, positive ideas for improving our city. No negativity.
I want to thank Caroline for a posting on Facebook. And it was a risky comment on there, asking the general, our representative, our city members, what they would like to see for the city, any additions, deletions. She kept it very positive. I didn't see a whole lot of response, but that's that can be normal. But yeah, I appreciate you doing that. And by taking the risk like that, you do put yourself out there, but you get people thinking and people doing. And I think kind of like what Earl mentioned, that we might not have a whole lot of doers at this time, but the more that you do that, the more we're going to get everybody engaged and really, really help this little city. So thank you so much.
Okay, any other Public comment on good of the order.
I was just gonna comment. I'd like to talk to you after about that.
Okay.
Got people that would probably join. And also, the Auburn Interfaith Food Closet. At Sierra Vista, we do that the first Tuesday of every month. Because of voting, it switched, but, we're trying to find out how we can get the word out to more people. So if there's any way, I hope this is okay to do it here.
Are you getting a hold of the chamber and putting it in the chamber newsletter? And we
No,
can put it in our newsletter. Also,
Okay,
make
I
sure
can
it's
do that.
included in
Okay.
that.
All right. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we do that, Will? If we, thank you.
For the benefit of all the sugar and caffeine addicts in town, I just want to make sure you all know that the Wrecking Crew Bakery is not going out of business. They're moving and they will be reopening May the 1st. And so don't forget them. Look for all the signage that helps identify what's going on with them. But it's been wonderful to see the support that they've enjoyed. And Caroline was going to try to be here tonight, but she's busy moving. So, but anyway, thank you.
Okay, any other comments on good of the order? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn? And
Move
don't
to
forget
adjourn.
St. Patrick's Day at the VFW.
You're right.
Do I hear a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second. All right.
I abstain. Meeting over.
Whoever wants to take the rest of the cookies home.